Somebody give me a thumbs up if we're live. Because once again, StreamYard doesn't. Anyway, nevertheless, it is Friday, slightly after noon on the East Coast here. You know what time it is. Small Biz Breakdown time. I'm Brent Leary. I'm like the moderator, the guy that kind of keeps things going. Yeah, that's my role. So very glad to be here. It is friggin' 18 degrees when I woke up this morning, but that's okay because currently, as you can maybe see, I'm all ready to go for cold weather. Football's coming up, the playoffs, Sunday afternoon, 6:30 Eastern. My Rams take the field at Soldier Field. So I'm in the process of getting ready. It takes me several days. The beard, yeah, the grizzly beard is already ready. I'm not wearing my usual cap. I'm wearing a skull cap, but nonetheless, it's still the right brand. All right, so I'm all ready. I'm all ready for that, and I'm all ready for whatever we're going to talk about this week, because we usually talk about an assortment of things, a cornucopia of things, maybe. But we always start the same way. All the way out west, from what I hear, it's actually pretty good weather there. Leland from Oregon. Hey, Leland.
Hey, Brent. Good to be here. Yeah, it's good weather. Not freezing our tush off, so don't have to bundle up too much. I haven't had to break out the winter coat. Just a nice hoodie.
Not the winter coat. We're already mid-January. No winter coat yet, huh?
No, which is a good thing because I got like the washer and dryer out in the garage, and if it gets too cold, it freezes. And then I have to put a heater on it. So I'm actually a little thankful for a nice warm winter.
Let's see if it's just as warm, although I bet it's not, in one of those areas we like to call the heartland of the United States of America. Gary, Indiana, home of the Jacksons. Little Michael, and Janet and all the other ones. Latoya, can't leave out Latoya. And Pierre. Hey, Pierre, what's up?
Hey, good morning, and hey, everybody. Good to be here, and I am just to say, even we're close to the Bears, so I know I was very careful not to troll about the Bears that have a cap on. However, I do have a little bit of the orange from the colors, and I think a little bit of the blue if I can see myself. So a little bit, but not that much. and plus, it's cold. It's too cold to troll. I'll say that.
Yeah.
So
it is very cold. But, I'm hoping that we add a little black to the blue tomorrow, Sunday, when it comes to the game. Although our track record of Rams winning games under 20 degrees is not very good. So I'm just telling what
to do the same thing for the
yeah. Moving right along from Gary, Indiana. It's time to move the hell out of there. Look who showed up. I thought for a minute we were going to have to go all the way to our nation's capital from Gary, Indiana. But no, we are able to do what we usually do, which is make a nice little stop. I was going to say a pit stop, but no, we like being in magical, mystical Medina because that's where the one and only Evena Taylor is. Hey, Evena.
Hi, everyone. I have to admit something to you guys. I was sitting in what I thought was the green room and wondering why and what was going on until I realized that I did not press the button. So yeah, I have been here patiently waiting.
We were wondering what was going on. We were actually getting ready to put out an all points bulletin. But by the time
I am here to brighten your day.
That's all that needs to be said, folks. Really, that's all that needs to be said. We're just going to keep it moving because we actually have a full show today because everybody is here. That means we actually do not bypass our nation's capital today because Mr. Smile is back with us, Shashi Bellamkonda.
Hey, everybody. Glad to join you from the capital of the world, which it's moving in that direction even more nowadays.
Wow. Yeah. Ask the folks in Greenland. Speaking of worldwide capitals, I think I'm going to get this right. We traverse our way to New Jersey, where that is I think, the home of the vacation capital of the galaxy, actually. Because that's where Ramon Ray is.
Vacation capital of the world. I am here. It's good to be everybody. What a medley, a concorpia mix of potpourri dish of people, just red and yellow, black and white. Amazing. Glad to be here, Brent. We have. Oh yes. We have one. Okay, that's right. Well,
We have one more.
but yeah,
But I like that. You went with the blackie. I thought you were Wiz Khalifa or something. I forget what was going on here. All right. To complete the complete set. This might be a first. Close to a first, anyway. He is the bold one. Some call him the cold one. Well, he is in Atlanta. It is really cold here. And he just had another birthday, so you know what that means. I'm not even going to have to spell it out. He is John Colterize Lost.
Yay!
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Happy.
I
Yeah,
know.
happy birthday.
That
Yeah.
is amazing.
You made it another year. We're happy.
Hey, bro, it was close. It was close.
Anyway, what you don't have a mug? Isn't it kind of cold just to be drinking cold stuff? I thought you'd have a nice mug of something in there. But
Yeah, no, I don't have no mug today.
no
No
mug
mug.
today.
No
Okay.
mug.
We're
I
glad.
drank a lot of coffee at breakfast, so
Okay, so you're
I'm
all
done.
heated up. You're
I'm
ready.
done. Yeah, I'm good.
All right, let's get it going. I got a little. Let me see. Do I have the right thing up here? Yeah. Okay. So I was watching the news the other day, and this dude, I think his name is Jim Vanderhyde. He's one of the co-founders of that site Axios. Axios is a pretty good news site. He was freaking the hell out because he thinks that all of us are not freaking out enough about what AI is doing to jobs. He went on this rant. He started frothing at the mouth or foaming at the mouth. You pick whatever. He was doing it at the mouth. That really didn't sound good. I really wish I had thought about that before I let that one out. So we'll just keep it moving. All right. So he wrote an article about some of this stuff, and I was like, okay, well, should I be freaking out? Should all of us be freaking out? So it says, behind the curtain, this is the name of the article, the job replacement AI machine. And then he put this out there as part of this. By the way, Jeff Moore is saying happy birthday to Coach John. All right, I'm just going to let it slide. Anyway, so here's something that he said. Elon Musk in a new Moonshots. By the way, I like that Moonshots podcast. I don't know if you guys check it out, but I really like it. Says in a recent episode of the Moonshots podcast, AI is good enough today to replace blankety blank percent of white collar jobs today. Would you each care to take a guess as to what percent?
70.
84.
52.
70.
We'll
You
go
already
with
said
80.
70. Wait a minute. Ramon, you said it twice, right?
I don't know if you heard me. So you acknowledged Shashi like you always do, but me, you just kind of just like I was.
I didn't acknowledge anybody because it was rapid fire coming at me. I mean, it was like 70, 84, 32. So it's 70, 84, 52. Who else?
I say 63.
I say 15.
And I'm saying 80.
Okay. All right. That's a lot. Wait a minute. Who you guys got tomorrow? We're not to the sports part of this yet, but thanks for hanging in there with us. So wow, you guys came out quick, fast, in a hurry with those. So let's get to it.
I was completely different.
You
Yeah.
were. Well, you always are. In a good way. I meant that in a good way. All right. And guess what? You're the closest. Wait a minute. Yeah. No, you weren't the closest. I thought you were the closest. 50%. So Leland.
With 52, I think you said, right?
52%. Jeff Moore. Well, Jeff, we'll put it up there, but guess what? You're wrong. That's okay. Thanks for playing along with us. 52, half. Are you guys surprised at half? Some of you are like way out there. 80. Somebody said 80 something, right?
These are just guesses. I mean, it's not some study. It's he saying what he thinks. So 50 to 75 to me is about the same. It's not. I mean, who would think 15? Nobody said. Oh, even have said that. Sorry.
20.
Let's put it like this. It'll be closer to mine tomorrow.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. What are you, Little Orphan Annie? We going tomorrow?
No, I'm just
Answer
saying.
tomorrow?
I'm just saying that if we're at 50 today,
Yeah.
tomorrow it could be 80. I mean, it moves.
It's moving
quickly
that
now.
fast.
I think it's going to go lower.
Okay, it could be
these-
day after tomorrow, but I mean,
these
it's moving
guys-
very rapidly.
I think these guys are talking out of a
Ooh,
place
an orifice?
where they have not
Oh.
sat down to actually do any of the things they think it's gonna do,
Yeah.
or that it does. And I don't even know what is up with my Chat GPT. It's having a bad week. It is just saying some of the stupidest things. It is being more stupid today than it was months ago.
That just means they're updating it. So that means ChatGPT 5.5 is about to come out.
Oh, well, because it is just so bad.
Yeah.
How bad is it? Oh, sorry.
I should have had one for that though. Yeah, I just think these people are talking about stuff they have not done. And John, again, we keep talking about how we're in a bubble, and we are in a bubble. You got to understand, most people are not, and I think most leadership is in its own kind of bubble.
Yeah, but here, look at who we're talking about. We're talking about Musk, right? So the deal is, first, Musk is not using ChatGPT version 5. Musk is probably using a version of AI that's at 8. So that's, his reference is not the same reference that the average person's is, right? So there's things that are going on that we don't know about. Militarily, AI, there's AI that is so much higher up than we're publicly used to. And then that's A. And then B, ChatGPT is just a program that actually runs on AI. It's not AI itself. ChatGPT is a chat bot that was placed on top of an AI infrastructure. So what we get is public facing. It's not the real full version of AI and what it can do and what it's doing. I'm telling you right now, there are AIs that are running, doing job descriptions from end to end, not just copy and paste after I ask a question.
Hey, John, let me ask you a follow-up, if I may, Brent. Do you think, is it fair to say, like, the whole thing with the Grok putting the nude pictures on, the real people, things like that, we laugh at that and that's whatever it is. But the point is that, are you saying that there's versions of that they're using that have no throttle, kind of like a fancy car, that they're taking out the restraints, the airbag, all that, so you can do stuff that we can't do? That's what I'm hearing you say, is that only probably due to licensing and rules and regulations, the future stuff is not there. But it's already ready. Once that get through checks and balances or whatever, they'll release it. That's just another thought. I don't know if that makes sense, what I'm trying to say.
So go ahead.
I was going. Oh, go ahead, Shashi.
Yeah, I was going to say two things. Number one is, like, the public always tests AI in a way that they seem to want to break it, right? Like the same technology that is causing these fake images can actually be used for good. Science, looking at people's eyes and actually being able to say, like, hey, you're likely to develop cataract in the next 3 months, right? So that technology can be used for good or can be used for bad. And unfortunately, they've started using it in that way. The second thing is, I think I buy the 50% figure simply because he's already proved it. He divested X of almost 50% of the staff. Everybody thought it'll crash and burn, but it didn't. In fact, it's become a good learning, learning way for XAI now, right? That's why they're able to do that. Those are two things I wanted to add to this conversation.
Yeah, I want to add something if I can too. I think part of this is, I get the high figure, but you also got to listen. This is Musk, and the fact that he has an AI that he's trying to have people use, which is like XAI, doing that with Grok and that type of thing. There's sort of he has a
vested interest.
Yeah, very vested. Very vested. I don't think I think this is. I understand everyone saying, I think people like. I agree with Ivana. I think people are spitwadding their own little number out there. But I think as context engineering takes off this year, I think that's where we're going to see a little bit of friction that might slow some folks down. People are expecting high returns. They're expecting, immediate, like, oh, we stick this AI and we're going to get all this productivity. But right now, there's a real struggle about what the productivity is that you're getting. I mean, pretty much everything that you see is pretty much dealing with content at some level, and not every piece of productivity in the world is just around content. So I think we're going to see we're always going to see a high number, but I think there's going to be a little bit of a difference between what people are thinking it's going to be versus what the reality is.
Just to circle back to what you asked about, Ramon, one thing
Thank you, John. Thank you.
Well, just one thing people don't recognize or realize is AI has no throttle. When they train AI, they add the throttle at the end.
Right.
So they make it pretend like it has a personality, that it knows you, that it can talk back to you. All of that kind of stuff is part of the prompt that we don't see in the prompt window every time you put it in, right? So that becomes, something that they put on top. But in reality, AI has no soul.
Yep.
It has no, awareness. And it really is a number cruncher. It turns text into numbers. And based on that number and the probability of the numbers, it will infer what the best response is to whatever characters it's reading from. And so there is no throttle. So when somebody's playing with, Grok and realizes, hey, I can get around the added on, safety zone and get to talk to it at a very low level, it can get it to do, these crazy things that it's doing. But I guarantee you, man, the thing is when he speaks about AI capabilities, he's already doing it in his companies.
Yeah.
So his robots are already building his cars. That's already happening in his facilities. But, it's not public facing yet. So we don't know. But I guarantee you, maybe he might be a little bit on the high side. But if you looked at Elon Musk, and I mean everything, things I like and things I can't stand about him, he's rarely been wrong. So y'all can sit around and talk about this while he's living on Mars.
Yeah. By the way, it's going back to the AI doesn't have feelings. Some people think in a couple of years they will achieve sentience with this stuff. I don't necessarily say I believe that or not, but people with PhDs and this stuff are saying this stuff has moved so fast, so much faster than they thought. Sentience is now in play.
Yeah, possibly. But ask the PhD to define sentience.
Oh, they can't. They don't want to put themselves out there to define it. But
I know. So if you
possible.
can't define, let's put it like this: in business, if you can't define a metric, how do you measure it?
I can define it. I'm going to tell you and Brent, John and Brent, sentience is not coming. It is never coming. It's all going to be math that we feel is sentience. I strongly believe that sentience only can come from God or whatever you may believe, but is a much higher than us and is a human only thing. That's just my humble opinion. But I do think we can feel it, like the babies you push and the baby goes, yeah, the little baby thinks it's mommy. I get it. It's not. It's a darn battery by Duracell. She doesn't know or he doesn't know. So that's my strong opinion. And I didn't stutter.
Ooh, I like that.
Well,
all right. Oh,
that's a good one.
That's a good one. All right. Let's keep it moving. This is actually pretty cool. But I got to recognize something that almost brought tears to my eyes because I seldom see this anywhere I go.
Tears.
Somebody else that says "Go Rams." Thank you. Thank you, Juan.
I knew it had to be very surface level.
Thank you. And we're going to steer clear to this one. We'll just keep it moving. All right. So as part of that article, the guy that was freaking out because of John and stuff. There was he actually pointed to kind of a quandary, maybe a good news, but then in the far, kind of in the long term, not so good. He pointed to this company that is this startup. I don't know how many of you heard of Mercor. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, Mercor or whatever.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Job seekers, people. This company is a startup. They are actually hiring like hundreds of thousands of actual human beings to train AI to do their old role. So partially a good thing. Like if you're a white collar person that has a certain kind of specialty with lots of experience and you're having a hard time finding a job, they will pay you upwards of $250 an hour to basically hand over all of your expertise and experience into their AI so that they can then never hire a person again to do this stuff. I thought this was a fascinating thing. I mean, there's a good news and there's a bad news, and it's already got a $10 billion valuation.
Question.
Go ahead. The thoughts on this. What do you think?
Question.
Yeah.
If the last number we just said were not true, then this would be ridiculous, wouldn't it?
That
But
they're putting all this money
last-
into training. Yeah, absolutely.
If the last number is pretty true, then this makes sense, doesn't it?
And it also points to, sorry, Ramon, possibly back to sentience. Because if they're hiring thousands of people that have certain skill sets, they want to go beyond. They want to make sure not only the data is right and accurate and actionable, but they're trying to dig into more than just the data. They're trying to dig into, what do you feel about this? How should we position this when it comes to that? That's stuff that facts and figures can't do on their own.
But math can, right, Brent? Math can. Is that, little girl crying, imagine the little RoboCop looking figure, little girl crying, tears streaming, lost my teddy bear. That's index. We know teddy bear. We know tears. We know that lost. We know all those things. So I'm now Grok Robo, and here I go. Oh my, I'm so sorry. I know how that feels. When I was a little boy, I lost my teddy bear too. Oh boy, but don't worry. At the Ritz-Carlton bar, we have another one. It's free for you. Not the bar, Ritz-Carlton Child Exploration Zone. We have one for you. Here's a new teddy bear. That's not sentient to the thing we're saying. That's just math.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's a very kind of high level generalized thing. They're not hiring these folks for general stuff. They're hiring for deep level learning, understanding, experiential stuff that they can put into their AI and translate it into whatever interaction they want to cull from all that. That's I think a deeper part going there. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm gonna throw a bomb at Ramon's understanding of sentience and mathematics.
It's a figurative bomb, folks. Please,
right.
Nobody's going to get hurt.
Yeah. But I mean, basically, you keep saying it's mathematics. Well, it's mathematics and science. Okay, yes. We would agree on that, right? But so is your brain function. Yes. So these computer brains are mapped mathematically the same way your brain runs mathematically.
I agree.
So all these things that bring sentience to us as humans really come from mathematical functions that happen in our brain.
Let me say one more feedback, and then we can move on. Again, I would love to hear from Eva and Ethan and others. I don't want to dominate it. I mean, I do want to dominate it, but I can't.
I'm about to say, back that up.
Words and actions.
You not stutter.
Let me get and then I'll bother you. I know we save time. Other 30 minutes, y'all talk. But, to get spiritual, I know Brent doesn't mind us going anywhere in the conversation. But I do believe, again, taking my direct religion out, but just talk about faith a little bit. I believe, but we're all right. We all have different faiths and beliefs, but I'm just bringing my input to it. While I'm so strong against it, I believe at some point there's and forgive the wording, a delta, a jump where it is the Spirit of God or it is beyond us. Infuse that in there. So you're right, John. I agree. You get bit by the dog forever. You learn fear and all this, the things, you eat candy, you have the taste of how it feels. I agree with all that, but I'm just saying there's still a jump. I believe that computers still can't have the human index. That's all I'm saying.
I like It's one of my favorite quotes. You know, it's like one of my favorite movies growing up. It's like, it doesn't feel happy, it doesn't feel sad, it just runs program. That comes from Short Circuit. Love that movie. And you know, in that one, that was the idea that a computer can become sentient after being struck by lightning.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just it. You know, it's like it's a program, and that would be kind of like putting our place into, you know, this idea that we would be a god over this entity and that we could hack its brain and stuff like that. And I think that that's just, you know, pumping ourselves up a little bit. You know, at the end of the day, it is just a program. And yeah, to certain degrees, you could hack the human brain. But, you know, I guess you would probably put it to a complexity of whatever we could build is like nothing compared to what we are. I mean, to have this computer in our heads is so complex that even the best that we can kind of come up with is, you know, just a poor, pale imitation, in my mind, at least.
Yeah.
So meat brain rules.
Yeah, meat brain. Well, it's mostly fat up there, but yeah.
I think Mercor is not alone, everyone. Like almost every AI company has similar job descriptions to do similar things. I actually spoke to a couple of people who provide these services. Like, for example, if an LLM doesn't answer a question about cardio something, it needs somebody with that experience, a doctor, to be able to say why the answer was wrong, right? It can be just somebody somewhere just saying. Now, the important thing is whenever you mark unsatisfactory for the answer, it used to go through a human being to figure out why. Now they have a level of AI, but that was trained basically on the human beings who were actually making the corrections. Now, the second thing that why it's important is AI understands patterns, but somebody should have said, like, okay, this person to the left of me is Ramon Ray. Without that, AI will just say, this is a human being. I know it's a male, but it doesn't know anything beyond that. Like a clear example is for animals, right? Like you tell the AI, mark a cat. The AI will actually go forward and say, like, hey, you told me cats have 4 legs. Here are 72 other animals that I can find that also look similar. What are they? Then somebody has to manually say, or the AI has to go and learn from somewhere where it says a goat looks like this. And that's a simple answer. The AI can, by now, can find a label and place it to that. But the extra qualification that is needed for all of these people to work for Mercor may not be easily available, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, they even talk a little bit about the interview process, and you just can't say I do this and think you can get $250 an hour for it. They put you through some rigorous training to make sure that you are the real deal. And I would assume most people don't even get to the stage where they're able to start doing anything. But anyway, net, those are new jobs. But they're jobs to put you out of work forever. So is that net a good thing or not? Or is it just something we're going to have to deal with?
I mean, all our jobs are also very similar. Like we may not know it, but we are probably training AI about at least the routine work that we are doing. It's only the brilliance of Ramon Ray that can be replaced by AI.
Shashi.
That's it, Shashi. You're right. That's it.
My God, Shashi, you sure you don't want to go back on the road for a couple of weeks?
Lord.
All right. Let's go in a completely, slightly different direction. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but Google put out this. I'm trying to find it here. I'll show it to you in a second. It's 2026. Now, this should be right up even as alley. 2026 marketing predictions. 10 industry leaders on what matters this year. You want to take a shot at some of these? I show you what they're saying, and if you believe them or agree with them or not.
Yeah, I'd be really serious. I've been looking at these things and I'm starting to feel like the grizzled old lady, like this old lady Taylor, man, stay away from her.
Okay, well, I wasn't going quite that far, but all right, we'll take a shot at some of these. I mean, so I'm going to bring it up on my screen now, and these are people that have legitimate like titles and cachet. So Lorraine Toohill, I don't know who she is, but she is the CMO of Google. So
Oh,
in and itself, that should be qualifiable there. All right. So she says in 2026. More important, deploying an end-to-end AI strategy that works at scale and helps drive improve. Now, see, a lot of this stuff is just like,
these are all like enterprisey things.
yeah.
And
Which-
I don't have an elegant way of saying this, but like the conversation we just had about jobs replacing and what Elon Musk is thinking and so on and so forth. I'm thinking about huge enterprise organizations and just absolute brain power. And I understand that they're hiring different kinds of developers. There's different kinds of AI developers, context builders, whatever. I'm sure that this is something Pierre can talk about. But that's very, very far removed on what you're going to see on the solopreneur side of small businesses. So sorry, go ahead.
I'll just read it and let you
Yeah.
have at it. All right. So she's saying deploying an end-to-end AI strategy that works at scale and helps drive improved impact and outcomes for the CMO. I mean, how many small businesses have a CMO? The same. Clearly demonstrating the power and immense value of investing in marketing. So in other words, she's saying double down on marketing, but putting in AI, adding AI into your marketing mix.
Absolutely. And so I'm just going to like almost sound like I'm disagreeing with myself, and I'm not, right? So let's translate this to what small businesses and solopreneurs should be doing. In other words, what she's saying, if you're a micro business, is don't ignore AI. And if you're old enough, that's like ignoring having a website. Don't ignore it. Okay. That's all she's saying. Think about it. We've talked about that here before. Good one.
And the old way of doing things that get in the way of the profound transformation of tools, processes, and ingrained habits required to, so that's less important. Like, in other words, how do you get people to like get over everything they were taught and learned when it comes to business that may have some certain level of success, and basically say, you know what, with this new AI stuff, you got to leave some of that stuff behind. You got to forget about that stuff because it's not going to work for you. How difficult is that going to be for traditional small businesses to say, well, shit, it's worked for me for 20 years. Why should I throw it all away now because this new AI things? It seems to me like that might be the harder part, harder than getting that first part.
I think it's about, if I had to pick one thing, I'd say most businesses, there tends to be this little bit of a lagging curve when it comes to technology. And what I mean by that is that a lot of times they hear it, but until they see numbers saying, hey, there's an increase in productivity by X%. I know that there's a little bit of jump starting that's going on right now because from corporate, but I think until they see actual or feel that there's actual numbers where people are actually seeing some profit from a particular process, they'll start turning to it. And it's that's always been there in business. Even when you had search engines, like back in the days when search engines were picking up, and a lot of people were looking at maybe Amazon for products and services, retailers picked up on that to a certain extent. B2B was definitely lagging, and they still would turn to Google for looking for services and that type of thing. So there's always going to be a little bit of wheel spin, if you want to think of it that way. The tires are spinning, turning, but there's smoke, and it's just not quite getting the traction yet. But you just know that they will at some point, and the car will take off. And I think that's the part that that's the vision that business owners have to kind of keep in mind when they're not only looking at AI, but even looking at the different variations on AI as well.
Any other thoughts before I move on to another one?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, small businesses shouldn't necessarily just throw out, the baby with the bathwater, just because there's a new shiny tool out there. But you shouldn't necessarily just say, no, I don't want to use the new tool because I got this new old thing that keeps working. It may take me 28 hours a week to be able to do this this thing. But try to find a good balance that utilizes the best of both worlds. Maybe you could find some AI that actually cuts the thing that you've been doing that takes 20 hours a week down to 5 or 4 or something like that, but you get the same results, or maybe even better, because instead of doing just 20 hours a week, you could do what would be 40 hours worth a week, maybe get more out of it, and then only have to do 8 hours, to be able to get more done. So, striking the balance and learning from what you've done in the past, and, using new stuff. That's the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I think I wanted to say something very similar to, like, instead of worrying about like, hey, do I need to change everything in my business? No, I mean, start with what is the biggest problem that you have, and then decide if there's a new tool out there that's going to solve that problem for you. For example, I think restaurants, employees are always like, they don't get enough resources in the kitchen and things like that. So there will come a day when they can actually have robots working in the kitchen for things that were repeated and they didn't find people to do that, right? So instead of saying, what do I need to do tomorrow? I'll say, like, what are the problems that you have today? And then we can solve that. That should probably be the way small businesses should think about AI.
Cool. All right. I got another one. I'm gonna go to Mr. Ray to kick this one off, because I know he knows a lot about branding. So let me pop this up and pop so you can all see it. All right, now Joshua Spanier, VP of AI and Marketing Strategy from Google. So he passes the test for able to talk and people listen. All right. More important, 2026 is about the power of and. Retire brand or performance. In 2026, it's about brand and performance. Who's gonna actually disagree with that, right? I mean, are you seeing a lot of people just have disconnected discussions about brand without actually measuring how those conversations or that content, brand content, is working? Is that something that just happens a lot in the small business world? Like, everybody's talking about brand, but are they actually measuring the effect of all that talk? Ramon,
I think two things. Two things. I think one, Brent, I struggle with this myself, in that I can easily get caught up in the vanity metrics. Ooh, I had clicks, I had this, that, or the other. So one thing I'm doing myself personally as a small business owner, I am doing my best to measure, is this really working? Yay, my video got 15,000 views that I paid for, but who bought from it? Things of that nature. So vanity metrics, that's one. So I do think, but I invite my peers to see, they think vanity metrics can be an issue. I do think, number two, though, the smarter, and we've talked about this over time, those businesses with the right mindset, a matured mindset, we have to learn to not just look at vanity metrics. So who'd you say, Joshua? I think he's right. Brand. But now what is it doing? And the third thing I'll say, having said that, I was talking just yesterday to the VP of branding and a huge title at Square, Blocks company. Square, Ebun is her name, EBUN. And she's the brand experiential person. We talked about branding. We talked about the speeds. We talked about feeds. But guess what? She's dialed in on numbers. She talked about this, how many retailers, how many stores, this. So I hope I'm answering it. My point is, I think he's right. Brand's good. But I do think the smarter companies, the only way to have a conversation about brand is in some way to know what's the value. And I'll say one more thing. When you think of FIFA, which is coming up, right, in to USA and otherwise, companies are spending millions on it. I'm sure they're in some way measuring something, sentiment or something they're measuring with it. So I hope that was helpful, Brent.
Anybody else before I go to the big guy? Okay, go ahead.
I agree with Ramon on the point about the vanity metrics, but it also points to a larger problem as well, too. People have heard of entrepreneurship and personal branding. And a lot of times, while there's nothing wrong with that on the surface, it starts to get to a point where branding is supposed to help you remember what the product or service that you offer. Mm-hmm. And what's happened is I think over the years, people have started to disconnect certain things to the point where you hear brand, but you really don't remember what the person is supposed to be for, what the business is supposed to be for. And it's a challenge. I think now the new things are helping us to kind of circle back to that. I think Ramon is right in that. You see, I'm giving a lot of credit to Ramon. He's got to get that credit. But he's right in that a lot of the clicks, a lot of the visits, you need to tie that to. I mean, there needs to be talk about visits to conversions, and you need to talk about segments or customer segments within your data. That's a big. I think most people are starting to figure this out now. But you're right. It is a challenge where people think of brand. I think part of that was just because they confused marketing and sales and blended it together and say, okay, brand, remember me, but we're not. If I don't remember you for what the product or service is, that's a problem. It means you didn't really think through and what your strategy is or what it is that you really want your customers to resonate with you about.
The important word from the quote is "and," because traditionally, just like what Ramon and Pierre said, people used to think, hey, I'm in charge of brand. And then the rest of the company says, hey, where's the revenue? We spent like $1 million on brand, but new customers are not coming in, right? So measuring both by only one metric, which is what difference did it make to your revenue after you spend this money? Not necessarily how many views we had, how many likes we had, or how many website visits. Did it impact your business or not? So that's the "and" part that I took away from that.
And it may not be more sales. I just want to remind, I think we forget about this. One of the reasons that people invest so much in brand is that having a solid brand that consistently delivers on its promise allows you to have more pricing control. It allows you to raise that price and create whatever that means, more value, right? So that's the reason for the investment. Does it allow us to maintain our price and ultimately increase our price, not just get new customers?
I always said brand was what people say about you when you're not in the room. That used to be a measurement of your brand. But traditional methods of branding used to require a manual analysis of customer feedback. It was tedious, it was slow, and it was kind of, like limited, right? But AI and social media today now makes it able for you to process conversations in real time. So simultaneously, I can see if my brand is moving in one direction or another. Like, I'm just trying to remember what happened with the other day with Verizon.
The outage thing?
Right, Verizon's outage. They had to make a statement and make some moves very quickly because they could read the comments in real time that were happening and seeing that sentiment and analysis by using AI right away. It's like, look, this is doing brand damage. We couldn't even do that before. It was impossible to do that in real time. So I definitely see that there is an action along with branding that we didn't have before. Before you put up the billboard, huh?
No, go ahead. Finish. Please continue.
Yeah, I mean, before you put up the billboard, people would get, the brand in their head, but you couldn't measure that the way you can today.
I was just curious, John, do you think they handled it well? I mean, I don't want to sidetrack from this discussion of brand and performance, which I think is important, but I don't know if y'all saw it. If you didn't, they said $20 for whoever. I don't know if it's for all customers, business, whatever, but $20, and they said we own it. My vote, and I'll just say it before I hear what y'all think, I think it was good enough. I mean, what more are they going to do? This technology fails, that happens. Mistakes are going to happen. Tomorrow's going to be T-Mobile. We know this, and I think saying, sorry, we screwed up, $20 for all of you, I think it puts it to bed. That's my 2 cents. Anybody disagree, though?
Taking ownership is a lot.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't do that. They would have pointed to, oh, well, our servers got hacked and blah, blah, blah. I think that works.
Yep.
We'll see.
Yep. And I think we want to know what happened, of course, but I just, like you said, I just think the immediate response, it happened yesterday, today we see an announcement, done. Now we'll find out months and weeks later what happened. That's fine. But for the end of story, they didn't say, hey, our vendor, our private third-party vendor, they screw. Come on, we don't care.
Right. I don't need that. That's your problem.
Yeah.
That wasn't my problem. My phone was out. Give me $20.
That's right.
All right. for us, I guess somehow when we have a share of this show to YouTube, and
Oh yeah.
whoever shared it to YouTube, you might want to just stop it because we're getting a whole bunch of crazy, I'm going to say crazy ass comments coming in here. Just to let you guys know. All right, moving on. This has actually been pretty good. It's pretty good stuff here. All right, so I think I want to ask Ivana to start us out on this one, and we're going to stick to. I'm going to bring this guy back up. No, I don't want that. I want this. Yeah. All right. Go here. So we're going to stick with Joshua, and this next one to me, I don't know. I don't think I agree with it, but we'll start with Ivana. So he says, "Stop fearing AI slop. Humans made bad ads long before robots.
Amen.
AI is here to kill mediocrity, not mass produce it. That is plain and utter bullshit at this moment." But I digress. Less AI panic, please. What do you say to that, Ivana?
Boy, I am. You guys will probably have some smart things to say about this. I do think that what I'm loving about AI's impact on marketing and copy and all of these things is that it is forcing all of us to be better thinkers, to think deeply, to think critically, because remember, John and Ramon already did a wonderful explanation of what's happening with AI. All of you guys, it is math and it's predicting, but there is something truly, truly critical. That's what I think is going to come through. So I don't know if I'm agreeing with that mediocrity statement, but there's something about that resonated with me. The more we see AI, the more savvy and the more able we are to sort of look at something and go, God, that's AI. I think that's AI. I don't trust it. I feel like I'm doing way more work when I don't want to be. Meaning, as I'm going through my Facebook feed, as I'm going through just about anything, I am exhausted because I have to triple, quadruple check absolutely everything. It's no longer entertaining. So I don't know that we are overreacting or anything. I do think that it will make us better humans eventually, after the slop.
Can I just say a little something on that? Because I kind of didn't think about it the way that you came at it, but I completely agree in terms of I question everything I see now because I'm not sure if it's real or not. I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. I want to know when something's real. Because if I'm seeing something that like people make up all sorts of crazy stories and use AI to tell them. And I'm always looking like there was something that posted a picture of, they're telling this story about Martin Luther King, and they had and about his family, and they had this beautiful image of him and his wife and his 2 daughters and a son. And I thought, well, where's the other son? And then I read more, and it's like this is an image of all of the King family that has already gone and passed away. I'm like, now I know this is bullshit because they had 2 daughters, and Bernice, the young one, is still alive along with Martin Luther III. But it looked great, and the story was touching, and it was utter bullshit. And I'm having to look at all these stories that look they're like very heartwarming, and then I realized this ain't real. That's what people are using this stuff for. Maybe it should be AI should be here to kill mediocrity, but it damn sure isn't doing it yet because there's still a lot of mediocrity thinking people out there using AI to spin their mediocrity and accelerate it and scale it up. That's what I see more than I see it being here to kill mediocrity.
And Brent, I'm saying more and more. It just happened to me twice. They were good-hearted, trying to be funny. Two event people, because I fly around the world speaking at the best events, biggest events in the world. Paid a lot of money to do it. You know what I'm saying? So they sent me flyers, AI generated. I'm saying no more and more. I get it. It was funny after a while, but when I see my face on their flyer, that doesn't quite. I said no. I'll send you images, or me singing, "Hey, come to the event." La 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 la. I'm like, no. If you want that, I'll just do it. So, meaning to your point, it's not like some Matthew McConaughey who licenses his image. Yesterday, I saw some press release, but more so, I'm just saying, nope. Let me send you images. It looks cute, but now I don't want to have Ramon Ray looking off and all this. It just no. I'll send you my image, my real photo.
Yeah. I think
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, I think the concern I have with the comment about the AI slop that came up is that I think we should be always proactive about what it is that we will accept versus things that we know are not good for us, or things that aren't really, or things we should be cautious about. And being security minded is not something that collectively we as human beings have always done. We do it for little things like lock the door of our house. If you get into your car, lock your car, things like that we can kind of physically see. For being online, there's always been some caution, but I think trying to not understand AI slop, I think is a bad idea, because the line, the benchmark is being moved, the goalpost is being moved. Think about this. A couple of years ago, we were worried about pictures where we have multiple fingers, showing up, or hands that aren't quite, clasped together. We can look and go, "Oh, that is AI." Today it's a little less so. We have to kind of keep up with what it is that creates AI slop. And I think even in content, there's things I think you can do. I think as a business owner to watch out for in terms of written content, to make sure it's not AI slop. Things like, saying that, wording that seems too straight-laced, things that are not really described, that seem too commercialized in describing something that may not fit the tone of what you're trying to do. I think there's little things that you have to be keeping in mind as you use AI to figure out what is AI slop versus what is AI right. So that way we are being productive, which is what AI was supposed to be doing. What the difference is for what is for quality work that you need to see. I think that part has to happen.
Yeah, I was going to say that I agree with you, Pierre. You have to deal with it in two different ways. The slop is mainly non-business use, where people are trying to create fake things, and that was there even before AI. If you're good at Photoshop, then you did it anyway, like the last few years has proven, right? Like, you see a headline as if it's a actual newspaper, but the headline is fake and the newspaper is fake. But I think the intent of this guy's remark is more about don't be afraid to use AI, simply because, and to your point, like, AI is bad at text, at least till now. It's getting better and better. So you will invariably, if you want to have image and text together, you will invariably find some typos in the text. And it's going to take you much more time to try to get the AI to recreate it to your perfection.
But
so
Josh,
that's where I think you don't have to worry about perfection right now. Use it to the extent that you can. For example, for my own Talking Headless show, when I was trying to use AI, it was really horrible. So I had to ask Brent for help, because it wasn't, even though I said, like, this is the format, this is the template, just take these pictures and put it there, it wasn't doing a good job. So there'll be some time when I can take it off Brent's plate and say, like, do exactly this, right? So till then, I think the message is, don't be afraid to experiment on non-critical things.
Hey,
I agree with that. Oh, go ahead, Ramon. I'll follow.
Okay, I was going to say, I just want to say, regarding the slop, I just want to say, you mentioned Adobe and stuff. Back in the day, which was only a few years ago, you had to pay for somebody to have expensive tools. That's what I want to say. So the slop is increasing because everybody can do it as cheap with one button. Brent, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
That's actually
exactly.
Thanks for putting that in there.
This is human behavior, and it happens on all levels. The fact of the matter that AI is a $20 tool, and it has removed the barrier to entry.
Yeah.
All we're seeing is a reflection of
humanity.
Exactly. So
It's not
all
a
of
pretty
this-
reflection
all-
either.
No, it's not. But all the outrage, over quote slop, which is something somebody just made up. That's what we're going to call it, AI slop. What is AI slop?
It's a lot of the stuff that I just talked about that we're all getting.
Right, but I'm saying,
it's nonstop. It's unfortunate. It's nonstop because, like you said, it's because it's allowed this technology. Once again, it's the technology is not the problem. It's the humans using the technology that's the problem. And
so it's human slop.
It's AI assisted human slop. AI makes it go to more people in a shorter amount of time.
It's just going to be a business
that's social media.
opportunity. It's going to be a business opportunity, just like spam created, spam filters and all of these things. Someone's going to come up with something. Wasn't there conversation about that too? That there's like a watermark or something. There's all kinds of conversation around that.
The Sora
There is
watermark.
Google has Synth ID. You can actually turn it on in your Gemini, and it will tell people that it was created by Google.
Yeah, but how many of the hucksters? I mean,
They're not going to use it.
Yeah, and that's the problem. I think we should be able to get away from AI slop, but we will never be able to get away to it from a certain extent because it's human. Humans are the ones driving, and
people are consuming it. If nobody was paying, wait, listen. If nobody was paying it any attention, it wouldn't show up on your timeline.
That's right.
But if people knew it was slop before it actually appeared on us, I think we wouldn't be. A lot of people would say, "All right, it's going to be slop." No, I don't want to see it.
Here's the thing. The platforms already know it's slop before they post it. There's already digital signatures that let it know whether or not this is made with AI or not.
That's the
they
platform.
Already know that.
That's the platform's business model. Because the platform's business model.
The platforms actually let it be distributed because it keeps people engaged on the platform.
And that's because that's the platform's business model, engagement. Correct. They're able to monetize the engagement with ads. So that fits them perfectly. That's not about us. It's about them.
No, it is about us. I'm sorry. It's about us. Can I, I don't want to go here, but I'm going to go here.
Go here.
Oh, Lord.
Wait a minute. Before you go there, I'm going to give you the spotlight.
No.
now go all the way there.
I should go right there. My friend Shashi Bellamkonda, love Shashi, an amazing person. He's tutored me. Our friends have been together. Our kids have been together. He showed me all he can. But Shashi Bellamkonda himself, he's pushing this stuff. Happy birthday. Hi, Shashi. I'm the king of this. Like he did it for the past 6 months. All I could see in my IG feed was people singing how good Shashi Bellamkonda was. AI all day long. Shashi, this is you.
Shashi is to blame, folks. Shashi is to blame, apparently.
I got your attention, didn't I, Ramon?
You did.
It's not just, the average small business or just grifter or something like that. I mean, big companies are putting out AI slop. There was it was Amazon, $1 billion company, access to tons of money. They decided we're going to take Japanese entertainment, we're going to dub it using AI voices. It was awful. It was horrible. They got panned. They got ripped. You have this action sequence, and you got this, this little girl getting chested, and she's like, "Oh no!" Just wooden. Is horrible, and it was slop. And they put it out there. A human reviewed it and went, "Yeah, that'll work."
So it's basically going back to this guy with the AI slop, because it was a guy at Google. Is AI slop from a business perspective? I can't believe I'm saying this. Is that actually a good thing? Because apparently it serves some kind of business purpose, or it wouldn't be out there.
I'm going to say, Amazon got panned really bad for that one, and they actually took it down. So but they're going to try it again. They're going to work it. They're going to, make it better, and because there's a business model there for it, and they're going to make it less sloppy, but it's still going. You're still going to hear the AI in it.
All right, folks. Oof. This has been one slop-filled 60 minutes of AI. Anybody have a parting thought or two before we end it for the week?
I do, because I got to go. I want people to understand that expectations are high on AI, right? Matter of fact, they're at an all-time peak. 2026, maybe early 27, you're going to also see what always follows these kinds of expectations. You're going to see a pit of disillusionment, right?
That's called trough, by the way. Trough of disillusionment.
Trough. Okay. So it's very similar to what we had in the .com bubble and bust. Same scenario. The only difference between those two, in my opinion, is that there are real capabilities in this tool. When pets.com was talking about the internet, there was no actual capability in it. It was all about what it could do one day. The stuff that this thing is doing right now is saving people, 30, 40% productivity just by being able to do something that took 3 hours to do it in 3 minutes. It's real, but I do see that there is going to be some disillusionment and a pullback. So that's me. Thanks, guys. Peace.
See ya.
See you, John.
See you, John.
I'm going to add on to John's comment if I can. Because I like that he talked about the trough of disillusionment. That's always been kind of a term that you would hear for the first movers in technology. But I think now with AI, there's a lot of movers in the technology, and I think we're all going to not only will see that. I think it's going to be I think the biggest thing that business owners should be doing is thinking about the timing. John mentioned about pets.com and the internet. There's a lot of great companies that came up during that internet age that were almost ahead of their time. And sometimes in business, if you're ahead of time, you may run out of runway financially. That did happen during the internet during those early days. And I think for AI, I'm tempted to say may see some level of that by going to wait and see how all the stuff with context engineering, the things with MCP, the things where we start looking at agents interacting with other agents and agents acting with devices, which is what I'm talking about when I talk about context. I want to see what happens with that a little bit. I think there is where we're going to see some more interesting and more distinction between what's working and what's not.
Nice.
Everybody's being very polite.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Leland. You have something to say?
No, it's like it left my mind. You're so engaged in the peers.
You're too young for that, man. That shouldn't be happening.
It's just starting early for me.
Shashi, you look like you got something. So
yeah, I've got something. Like I think right now AI is a tool, so it's not going to replace businesses or human beings. At some point, jobs will change, and that'll happen. But the right way to use AI is for assist and not create, especially for small businesses. And for assist is like, hey, they want to tell a story. They're not always willing to sit and type it out. You can actually say, like, here's my story. Can you put it in a nice format and then check it? In fact, like some of the prompts, you can actually tell them, like, don't use anything other than what I tell you. Don't go to the web. Check your work. Make sure there is no hallucination. So to a certain extent, that kind of productivity really helps small businesses, especially when they want to tell stories. And they have to keep telling stories. AI is not going to tell stories for them. So that's one thing. Like they can take all their entire like customer comments and say, like, summarize it so that I can put it on top of my website and say, here's what people are saying about it, right? But the bad thing, which I think is the definition of AI slop, is just to say, like, hey, this is my business, go create a video. It's not going to come out well. And one of the things that I learned through what Ramon was saying is to what extent AI will do it and where will it stop. Most of the tools that I used never allowed me to use a brand or even description like that. I had to like literally use cultural nuances and do that. So a 2 minute, not even 2 minutes, so like mostly 8-second video. If there is something that you have pictures and you want to create a video from your pictures, I call that AI assist. AI create, I think, is not ready yet for small businesses.
I found it. I
Okay,
remember.
excellent. Tell us.
There you go.
So my thoughts on it are, when you got AI and we got this fear of the bubble, it's like, well, stick with the big companies. Stick with the companies that you're working with currently. Utilize the AI when you're in QuickBooks, when you're in your Adobe programs. They're doing some amazing things with AI. These bigger companies integrating it. Zoho's doing some really good things to really make your life a lot easier. Learn those AIs. Kind of stay away from those smaller companies, because those are the ones that are a bit more risky. I got one of those little lifetime deals to one of those small AI companies, and it started out great. It's utter junk now. It doesn't work the way that it should, and I hate it, and I don't want to use it anymore. And so that to me is where you're going to get the risk. So stick with the big companies. Maybe be judicious about any kind of small pop-up companies, because they may be out in a week, or they may be gobbled up by a big company.
And I'm going to wind it up with something not AI.
Ooh.
I've noticed something, and I'm going to ask all of you guys to put this on your radar. I've noticed in engaging with both large companies and some small businesses that it appears like you are the customer, but you are not the customer. Like, look for that. And if you're a small business, look for all areas of your business where you can focus on your customer. I know it's tempting. You want to be more productive, or you want to be all these things, right? And these enterprise organizations are saying the things that they're saying, and that's okay. Good for them. What's missing right now that humans are craving, and that is to literally get what they're paying for. And there are really only two constituencies you should be worried about. One is your customer and actually serving them. They give you money, you give them something, right? It's either a transaction, like toothpaste, like a retail. It's a service. I'm going to give something to you that you don't want to do, you don't know how to do. Or it's something even more, right? It's a contribution to their lives, right? So focus on that. And then you can use these technical tools to help make that happen. If you weren't able to afford it before, you can use those tools to supplement that. Who was saying that? Assist. That was Shashi. The assist. I cannot tell you how many times that I am hit upon every single day where I am giving some company money and getting less and less and less. It's clear to me that I am not the customer here. The shareholder is the customer. And remember how our system runs. The shareholder is the customer, not you. So if you're a small business, you could stand out like crazy by just finding that one thing that you're going to make customers feel like customers and feel good about giving you money. Because let me tell you, I bought some hummus the other day for my Christmas. It was insanely expensive, but it was the best $16 I ever spent. I felt good about it. I was like, yes, I will give you some money. That's killer hummus. You go, little business owner.
Gotta like those little business owners.
But I felt good about spending that money. When was the last time you felt good about handing your hard-earned dollar over to someone or something?
It does seem to be food related a lot for me.
Yeah.
It is hitting me everywhere, whether it's my television or my food or something on a computer. I'm tired of paying corporations money for me to do their job.
Well said. Yeah. All right. So I'll just end with, I know this is probably hard for a lot of people to believe, but there was a point in time, decades ago at this point, when I actually used to be a paid developer. I got all sorts of, I'm trying to cut this thing off. I had all sorts of Microsoft certifications, solutions developer, database administrator, SQL admin, certified Microsoft trainer. object-oriented programming stuff from Rational Rose, all that. I was deep into it. And then I got completely burned out. I was like, I'm just so tired of looking at other people's spaghetti code and trying to fix all that. And I completely walked away, got into the CRM stuff from a non-coding perspective. Been going ever since. Been pretty good. But I have to say, I started checking out Claude Code and Cursor and Gemini, and I'm actually getting back into code, and it's not the coding that I detested by the time I was done. It's being able to use words, like regular words, and not just create content like, well, I call it content with utility, meaning applications. That's where I think the value of this stuff is going beyond kind of the marketing and stuff, but you can actually create things, not just content, create things that do stuff and take little amounts of time and actual effort. I think that's really the gold in where everybody's trying to dig with this AI stuff, is building things without all the effort that it used to be. And I learned that from these tech startup investor guys, or people that were tech guys that started up companies and invested. They said, we weren't able to do all the things we wanted to back then because we just didn't have the tools to make it easy. Now, individual 1 or 2 person shops are building enterprise grade stuff by leveraging these tools and being valued at tens of hundreds of millions of dollars, where it used to take a whole crew of people to do it. And they're using these things that are available to all of us. I think that's where we need to start spending our time, is how can we build stuff, excuse me, with these tools that make it easier than ever to actually build it. Yeah, you can make your content, but you can actually build stuff that does things. Yeah. And I think if small business start really just getting beyond some of the hype and looking at what's going on with these, Claude, the code thing just came out not too long ago, and they actually built a full-blown app using that, and it took like less than a week. So I know I talk a lot about being hard on content and AI and all that AI slop, but if you can get beyond that, there's AI artwork that you can create on your own that gets beyond this slop conversation, and really, I think, gives you an opportunity to build something that can make you some money, as opposed to creating content where it might get you some views or something like that. Anyway, that's I'm dropping the mic on myself because I feel like that was my best mic drop of all time on this show.
I love that.
Yep.
I love that he shares about himself. That's awesome.
And Jimbo Y, though, gotta love that name. Claude Cowork is a game changer. I think there's things out there. I think there's a lot that can be done at the small business level. You just kind of got to get past all the hype stuff and go a little deeper. And then I think you'll find some stuff that's worth it. Anyway, we hope that you felt this conversation was worth it. I loved all this stuff. I loved how we kind of went all around the bend with this stuff this week. So thanks to all the good comments. There's some crazy comments out there, and we ain't showing those, but we show the ones that are good. Matter of fact, one last one from Jimbo Y, though. Drag and drop a folder into a Claude Access and give it instructions. Work, go. Yeah, there it is. So we'll end on a positive note with this AI stuff. And thanks for you checking it out. And hopefully you'll have a great week and see us next Friday. And I hope
Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Hope the Rams win.
Everybody.
Yeah.